Hello everyone, welcome to my series Let's Learn Data Science Together. In this video of this series, we will be learning the basics of coding in Python that we would require for learning data science. In the video, we would be covering using comments, executing commands, importing packages, getting data from files, saving the output, and assessing records and variables. In the book, they have used the Spider IDE, but I will be using the VS Code. So if you want to download the Spider IDE, so you can just type Spider Python download, and from the very first link, you will be redirected this page, and then you know what to do. So without any further ado, let's get started. Using comments in Python. So comments are those pieces of code which are not executed by the compiler and are ignored by it, but they are still a very great help to understand what the code is about. For writing comments, we use a pound or a hash sign followed by whatever the comment is. Hashtag, this is a comment. Hashtag, the below is the code for writing hello world. Uses of comments. Documentation, debugging, collaboration, code review. For documentation, comments can be used to document a program's functionality and explain what the code does. In debugging, we can say that comments can help developers to identify and fix issues by providing insights into the code's behavior, like, okay, there is an error in line 3. Error in line 3. Okay, I'm writing it in short. Error in line 3, collaboration. If I want to tell my partner we are both working on the same program and I want to tell him that I have not done the program the part 2 of the program. I had to do addition and subtraction. I did only addition, so I can write subtraction is pending. Please complete that. So this is how I can collaborate. Code review. Comments can help the reviewers understand the code and also provide the feedback. If I am a person who does not understand any programming language, but there are proper comments, I would be able to decode what the code actually does and what the program is for, which is very great and is a habit of a good programmer. Also, I would like to mention that there are multi-line comments which we can write using triple quotes. We can use single triple quotes or double triple quotes for writing multi-line comments. Yeah, you can write a multi-line comment inside it. So this, as you can see, is a single line comment which is preceded by a hash or a pound sign. This is a multi-line comment which is inside three single quotes. And this is again a single line comment which says that comments are not executed and are ignored by the compiler. It will not produce any output since this code does not perform anything and is ignored by the compiler. Now next topic is executing commands in Python. So how does Python execute command? It executes or runs the command line by line as it is an interpreted language. But I must tell you that it is not a 100% interpreted language because the code is first compiled and then interpreted. 95% of you would say it is not compiled. But beta, अगर compile नहीं होगा तो interpret भी नहीं हो पाएगा. Remember this. Okay, so here they have told us what is the shortcut for running the code line by line in Spider. You can use this button, or for after you select some cells, you can press function plus F9 or F9 if you are using Spider IDE. I will be using VS Code as I already told you. Importing packages in Python. So how do we import package and why do we import package? Because even though Python offers a huge variety of inbuilt functions, there are some functions which we might need to import to perform particular tasks or special tasks and to achieve something which cannot be achieved otherwise using the inbuilt functions. So I can take an example of math module, which is the most basic module. Okay, I want to perform the square root thing and I don't want to write a code for it. So I will just import math and then write the code math.sqrt16. So it will give me the output as 4. I'm not writing it. My handwriting is too bad. Yes. So for data science, we would need two main modules, that is PD, pandas, and NP, numpy. PD and NP are the alias names that we would write because that would obviously save time. Rather than writing pandas dot something something something, we can write pd dot something 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 if we import module name as alias. You can learn it that way. Import module name as alias. Well, there are four ways of importing any module, which I will be discussing super soon with you. For now, you just need to know import is a keyword that we use to import any module, which is followed by the module name. As is written to give alias name, and after as we give the alias name, which would definitely save our time. So there's a fun fact that Mr. Donald wants to tell us. Mr. Donald, what's in for us? It wants to tell us that Pandas is a Python library which is used for working with datasets. It has functions for analyzing, cleaning, exploring, and manipulating the data. The name Pandas has a reference to both panel data and Python data analysis and was created by Wes McKinney in the year 2008. Okay, thank you. So now coming on to the four ways to import from modules or packages. We can just write import followed by module name, import module name as alias, from module name, import star. Star means everything. Here you can import everything and you would not even need to write the alias name. You can just directly use the function like read underscore CSV. Here you would need to use pandas.read underscore CSV. Here pd.read underscore CSV. Here just read underscore CSV. And here from pandas import read underscore CSV. So just read underscore CSV. Getting data into Python. How do I get my external data inside my Python code so that I can perform some operation on it? So if I have a file, let's say students.csv, and I want to import it, I will write a name for the dataset that I want to give to perform operation on it. Let's say s is equal to pd.read underscore csv and then the path to my file, that is student.csv or c.c// whatever directory you have in, you can copy the path and then paste it here. So the command read underscore CSV comes from the pandas package. We imported the pandas package as pd and hence we have written pd dot something something here. So after importing the pandas package, we can access the read underscore CSV command by typing pd just like we have done here. And to use the read underscore CSV command, we type pd followed by a period, then the command read underscore CSV, pd.read underscore CSV. I hope that explains it. And a note, it is important to remember what name you save the dataset as and try to keep it relatively short. This thing should be relatively short because you are going to use it again and again. So I can keep it S or STUD. If my data set is named student.csv, it should be similar to what the actual file is, just for better understandability. And then this code. So yeah, whenever you use it, you need to use it by this name as it says. So you'll have to remember it and keep it short. So for the understanding purpose, I have created this data set named students in my Excel sheet which has names, ages and grades of 8 students. This is a file that I created in Excel and then I saved it as a CSV file, CSV, which means comma separated values. And this is my students.csv file, how it looks like. All the values are separated by commas. So now the code so far would look like, first thing I would do is import my package or my library, which is pandas, as pd. So I have imported my package, and further I will be using it to perform operations. I already showed you what my data set was. This was students.csv, and I am using the name as stud, which I will further use for more operations. And pd.read_csv is for reading my data set and storing the contents in the stud. Now saving output in Python. So Mr. Output says, save me, बाद में आपके काम आएगा. If you don't want to perform any operations on that, you can just leave it as it is. But if you want to use it further later in your code, so you will have to save the output as a named object. So I can write C is equal to pd.read_csv or whatever command I want to give. So yeah, I'll tell you more about it and with a very interesting function from Pandas library in the practical section. So yeah, in Python we run the name of the saved output to view the output. We can print and whatever the name we have given to this to see what the output is. Print this thing to see what the output is. Now I think we are moving on to the last section of our theory part, that is accessing records and variables in Python. So we use the keyword loc to access the records. Record is a row, and to access column we use the column name. Just you can just give it a read if you want to, but I will be telling it to you in the practical. So here the table is known as the data frame data table, and the data frames are the records or the rows that I have. If I have student name, age, and grade, so yeah, Aman is the name, age would be 30, and grade would be C. So yeah, that's one record or a data frame. Also, just like indexing, the referencing in Python records also starts from 0. So if I want to access the 0th record of the bank underscore train name dataset, I will use dataset name dot loc, and inside the square brackets, I will give the index. If I want to access two or more indices, I can give 0, comma, maybe 2 or 3. It will fetch me the first, third, and the fourth record of my dataset. If I want to fetch the first three records, I will give 0, colon, 2 inside the brackets. So it will fetch me the 0th, first, and the second record. Also remember that in slicing, it does not consider the stop index, but here, while referencing, it does consider the stop index. So it will fetch me the 0th, first, and the second record. And for fetching the column names, as we discussed, we will be using the names of the column inside square bracket. So it will fetch me all the details from that column, as you can already see in this example output of the bank train dataset. I hope that's clear and that makes total sense. So with that, we come to the end of our theory portion, and we will now be starting our practical part. Just a quick view of our student.dataset again. It has 8 records and 3 headings, name, age, and grade, which we have stored in our CSV file. So now, coming on to performing functions. We took the variable name as stud, and we will be performing the functions using the variable as stud. The first function we are trying to perform is using pd.crosstab to show a cross-tabulation of age and grade, which means I want to see how many students of different ages have each grade. So I can write it as, first I want a variable name to store my output. So I have taken the variable name as cross-tab. Then the command name, which is pd.crosstab, wherein I will be giving my parameters, that is stud, and inside square brackets in single quote I have given my column name 1, and next parameter is my column name 2 inside single quotes inside square brackets, which I want to access from stud. stud में जाएगा उसका grade देखेगा, stud में जाएगा उसका age देखेगा, and then on the basis of that it will create a cross table for me, जिसमें मेरे पास जितने अलग अलग grades हैं, जितने अलग अलग ages हैं, उसका एक क्रॉस रिलेशन बना के टेबल क्रिएट करके मुझे आउटपुट में देगा. And to know what the output is, I will have to print this. So print in quotes I have written cross tab of age and grade colon backslash n. Backslash n is a delimiter which is a escape sequence which will print a new line. So after this I am getting the next output in a new line, which is my cross tab. So what did I have in my crosstab is the output grade A, B, C, age 20, 21, 22, 23. So 20 years के एक लोग की grade was A, 21 years के two people की grade was A, 22 years में दो लोगों की grade B थी and एक की grade A थी, and 23 year old लोगों में एक की grade was B and एक student की grade was C. So this was our crosstab, saving output and printing the output and knowing how the cross table looks like. Now trying to access the records which I have in our dataset. So for this purpose we use the attribute .loc to access the records, and in square brackets I can give my row number or the record number. Always remember that indexing starts from 0. So my first row will be indexed 0, second row will be indexed by 1, and so on. So as you might remember, my first record was Aman and I want to know the details of Aman. So I can record them in a variable which I have named as first underscore record is equal to stud was my dataset name dot loc, which is the attribute that I need to use, and in square bracket I can give the index. So 0th index means I want to access the first row. So I am printing data of first record is variable name. So data of first record is his name is Aman, his age is 20 and his grade is A. So I have successfully fetched my first record using the .loc attribute. Now, if I want to access multiple different records which are not in a sequence, so how can I do that? I can do that by mentioning in square brackets all the different row numbers, I mean indexes of the row numbers, that is 0, 2, 3 or any number in the range inside the square bracket. So I have stud.loc and square bracket, and inside the square bracket I can write 0, 2, 3 inside another square bracket to select the specific rows which are indexed as 0, 2 and 3, and then print them to check what it gives. It gives me the 0th row, Aman 20A, second indexed row, Chitra 21A, and the third indexed row, which is my fourth row, that is Debu 23 and C as the output. Now, what if I want to know all the values of a specific column? I can use the column name for the purpose. So I can give the variable name is equal to name of the data set dot loc attribute, and in square brackets I can give how many records I want to fetch. I have given it colon so that it fetches all my records from the very first record to the very last record and then the name of the column. So it will select all the rows but only from the age column as I have specified only age column. So let's see what it gives when we print it. This is the output we get on printing, which is all the rows and all the ages. So in the 0th row, I have the age of 20, in the first row 21, in the 7th row 23, and so on. Now, if I want to access multiple columns and specific rows, how can I do that? So let's say for example, I want to fetch first three rows and the name and age columns for the same. So first three rows would be 0th row, first row, and the second row. So I can take my variable name, I have taken it as subset, is equal to dataset name dot loc, and अब हम loc के अंदर लिखना स्टार्ट करेंगे स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट्स में. पहला एट्रीब्यूट होगा कितना चाहिए, मुझे 0 से 2 तक चाहिए, मतलब 0 1 2, 0:2. एंड कौन कौन से कॉलम्स चाहिए, नेम कॉमा एज, तो ये एक और स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट के अंदर लिख दिया. एंड सिंस वो कॉलम नेम्स है तो ऑब्वियसली वी हैव टू राइट इट इनसाइड सिंगल कोट्स. So it will fetches rows from index 0 to 2 and only the name and age columns. On printing, we will get the output as name, age of the first three records. Aman 20, Ayush 22, and Chitra 21. I hope I was able to make you understand at least some part of it, as I am a learner too. I am learning with you as well. If you have any doubts, you can comment down, and we'll see you soon in the next videos. Thank you so very much for sticking around till now. Hope to see you in the next one. Ta-da!